Hello YouTubers and welcome to Novice Talks with me, your host Novice Gorbius. And I wanted to do some last minute discussions and some theorizing on Spiral from the Book of Saw before it releases. Because in case you didn't know, the movie is coming out on May 14th. That release date is solid, it is not changing, and finally we can get to see the movie. I, however, am among the few that won't be able to see it because cinemas are not open here yet. We have no idea when they're going to be open. June seems to be the earliest, so it could be a month longer before I get to see it, or I might not even get to see it until it comes out in DVD. So this is probably going to be the last time I get to talk about Spiral on the channel, because after this, when the movie comes out, I'll be wanting to avoid spoilers and things like that, and people will already know what happened in the movie. So this is going to be my final video on the movie. Talking about Spiral over the last, I want to say, year and a half. It's actually been fun. The videos I've done have been some of my favorite videos that I've done on this channel since I've started it, because they're among the only videos that have gathered quite a bit of attention, and I've had some engagement with fans, and I've had a lot of fun making different and creative thumbnails for each of them. And so it's kind of weird now that the movie is coming out and this journey is coming to an end. But it's not too sad, because we already know Saw 10 is in development, so we'll be right back into the swing of things relatively soon, don't worry. But as for this movie, as for Spiral, I know when I'm going to get to see it, so I decided, you know what, let's just do one final video to sort of celebrate, I guess, the release of the movie at last. To recap everything we know about this movie so far, we first started hearing about a 9th Saw movie, I want to say late 2018. We started hearing stuff that Lionsgate were getting ready to make a Saw 9, and we presumed it was going to be a sequel to Jigsaw, because Jigsaw did end with Logan getting away, and we expected a story to follow up from that. We heard like one or two things that they were making this movie, and then suddenly it was complete silence. We heard nothing for, I'd say it was about a year, or at least like 9 months, until we heard that Chris Rock randomly strolled into Lionsgate with the pitch for a movie, a Saw spin-off as they were calling it, and they apparently liked it so much they made the movie. And that was around the time I first started talking about this movie as well. And it was interesting because since then we've never heard what the original Saw 9 was, or like, was that movie cancelled? Did it get incorporated into this movie, or are those ideas going to be put into Saw 10? I don't know, but whatever happened anyway, original plans sort of fell off a cliff, and Chris Rock came along, sort of saved the franchise, and pitched this spin-off movie. Pitched the idea of Spiral from the Book of Saw to Lionsgate, and they liked it so much that they jumped right into filming. Samuel L. Jackson got cast, obviously Chris Rock himself got cast, and the main big news was that Darren Lynn Bousman was returning from Saw 2, 3 and 4. That was a big deal, because he's the guy a lot of people look to when they think of Saw, and 2, 3 and 4 are what a lot of people regard as like the pinnacle of the franchise, so it makes sense that his return would gather a lot of attention and excitement. But nevertheless, all was quiet. They started filming under the working title The Organ Donor. We didn't know much information going through. We were seeing set pictures and theorizing on what we saw, but we never got anything concrete until the trailer came out. I remember when that trailer came out, I think it was in February of 2020, because I remember there was a build-up. There was a rumor that we were going to see it on a Monday, I think for the Super Bowl or something, if I'm correct. And there was a leak that the title was going to be Spiral from the Book of Saw. That turned out to be true. Trailer came out, and it was a really cool trailer. In typical Saw fashion, it teased what we would see, but didn't overcomplicate it, didn't spoil anything. It was just enough to hook your interest, and that's what I really liked about that original trailer. As the months went on, we got some posters, then the movie got delayed to this year, and then we got the second trailer about a month ago, and we've had some TV spots and some posters since, and that's really been the road to where we are now with this movie. It's been turbulent, but we have been kept up to date in recent weeks with stuff in this movie, so at least there's that. But yeah, going into my theories and stuff for the movie, as we saw from both trailers and from what we're being told overall, Spiral is more of a spin-off than anything else. It is in the same continuity as the previous movies. It is set after Jigsaw, but it's its own standalone thing. The killer in this thing is doing it for their own reasons and their own gain, and it's not necessarily tied to the previous films, or so they're trying to tell us. And we know not to expect to see previous characters like Logan or Dr. Gordon return, because this is its own movie. And I did do a bit of complaining along the road to this movie's release, saying that how the first 7 Saw movies, what made them so great was how intertwined they were. And suddenly with Jigsaw and now Spiral, we're at a point where the movies, they're no longer interconnected. They just feel disjointed, if anything. But I haven't seen the movie. No one has seen the movie. So for all we know, there could be a massive twist at the end that ties everything together. Highly unlikely, but it's possible. You never know. Especially with Darren and Bousman back on track. You know, they were saying that we won't see previous characters or whatever, but we know at least that we're seeing previous locations. And we've seen from the trailers, we've seen pictures of John Kramer, we've seen pictures of Obi from Saw 2. And in the 21 Savage music video, we saw Billy the Puppet finally. So we know he is in the movie, at least at one point, probably in a flashback sequence or something. But thinking about that, thinking that we're going to see them revisiting the locations of these old traps and referencing Billy, and also the fact that they've kept Tobin Bell's role in this movie a secret. They've never confirmed or denied it, and the fact that they haven't denied it is basically concrete proof that he is in the movie in some major way. Most likely, I'm willing to bet that he's going to show up in the ending and have some big reveal thing dropped. It just makes the most amount of sense. And so going into my theory, based on what we've seen, where we're seeing references to previous movies and this killer is doing their own thing, I think it kind of ties into Jigsaw in a way. If you remember in that movie, we learned that there was a website where people were able to see the blueprints and stuff for John Kramer's traps. People now had the means to take these blueprints and use them for their own gain. People were taking Jigsaw's ideas and philosophies and we presumed manipulating them to their own ends. Maybe there were some people in there who genuinely believed it, but that was the road we were led down. And I think that's what the Spiral Killer is doing. I don't know if they're actually going to full on reference it. I hope they do, but I'm not expecting it. But I think Spiral Killer is taking from that. Maybe they were a member of this website and they, more so than anyone else, genuinely believed in this philosophy, and so they're trying to stick to it as truly and accurately as possible, and sticking to what John Kramer's original goal and ideas were. And that leads me into the theory that what if the ending of this movie is the biggest twist we get yet? What if, because we've seen there is a shot in the movie that people are talking about. It's in a church and people are saying it could be like a survivors gathering thing like we saw in Saw 7. And it's got me thinking, what if we do end up seeing other characters? What if at the end of the movie we get a bunch of people in pig masks, they all take them off, and we see Dr. Gordon, we see, maybe not Logan, but we see people from previous traps. Maybe we even see, I can't remember the girl, but the woman from Jigsaw who was obsessed with his traps and had her own room full of these things. Eleanor was her name, sorry. What if we see her? Maybe she's into this, and maybe we see this is where it all connects. All these sparks, they've all gathered together under this umbrella. It is wishful thinking, and it does get me really excited, and that does kind of disappoint me because I know the movie probably won't do that. They'll probably keep it as its own standalone thing that doesn't have a lot of relevance to the other mythos at large. But it does get me excited at the possibility that maybe this is what they do. And it leads into Saw 10, and whether that movie ends up being the last one or not, I don't know. But that's just my theory and my hopes for the movie, and I guess we'll find out soon enough. We haven't a lot to go on. Thankfully, Lionsgate and everyone else, they're not spoiling the movie. They're doing their very best to keep things... They're keeping us hooked, but they're not spoiling things. They're showing us just enough to pique our interest, and that's something I'm really grateful for, because I want to go into this movie completely blind, and I want to be blown away. I want to be blown away by whatever they present to us. And I'm just really excited to finally see it at this point. But as I said, I probably won't get to see it for at least a month, if not longer, so this will be the last time I talk about the movie on this channel before it releases. And to anyone who's fortunate enough to be able to watch it on release day, if the cinemas are open where you live, I hope you enjoy the movie. I hope it's everything that it leads up to be, and do feel free to come back to the comments here and let me know what you think of the movie, without spoiling it, of course. And because I want to hear what people's reactions to this movie are, and if this truly is what we're all hoping it to be. But fear not, as I said in the beginning, I will do future Saw videos when stuff comes about. Maybe before I get to see Spiral, I'll probably end up doing like videos on like the budget and the box office success of the film. So I guess expect some stuff on that, but for now, this is it. The last video before the games continue. So I'm really excited for this movie. I absolutely cannot wait. I've been waiting since 2017, and let's just hope it's worth it. But yeah, let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What do you think of this little theory I came up with? Do you agree? Do you think we'll see any characters from previous films? Or do you think they were being completely honest when they said that Logan and everyone else would not be in Spiral? Or do you have any thoughts and opinions on your own? I want to hear everything you have to say down in the comment section below. And yeah, with that all said, thank you all for watching and please subscribe. Novas Corves out.